The hesitation, if any, is mainly due to the fact that neither party wants to be rejected, thus the hesitancy to initiate contact immediately. There are also a lot of doubts for both parties if the period between the next contact is prolonged. However, most experts would advise a comfortable waiting period, as this will give both parties the time to digest the events of the first date and the general characteristics of each other. Rushing into a second date will not allow either party the excitement and suspense that would ideally heighten the prospect of a second encounter. However, to be noted here, is that waiting too long to make contact is also equally unnerving for both parties, and this only increases further with more time lapsed. Most females enjoy discussing the first date with their friends and try to analyze every detail of the date. Advice is given on perceptions made, and then the female will decide if it would be worth the effort to agree to a second date should the opportunity present itself. For the male, however, the scenario is really quite different, as most males will more likely be occupied with getting on with their lives and work, thus having little time to dissect the date and analyze every detail of it, and should he decide to make the next move, making contact will then be the point of contention for him. This next contact will be the only element that occupies his thoughts and actions until contact is finally made and the next date is agreed upon. There is a lot of apprehension before an actual first date takes place, and most of these feelings are brought on by wrong choices made following up to the date or perceived awkwardness and mistakes that might occur during the date. All this can be avoided with a little careful research and knowledge on things other may or may not have done that attributed to a disastrous first date. The following are some points to consider in order to avoid having to go through a first date horror. Spending too much time on the phone or online with the intended date partner before the actual date could be potentially disastrous for the date. This is because both parties may eventually end up being all talked out and have nothing much to say at the date itself. This could also mean that there would be no more new things to explore with the other party that would make it finding out things about each other. Building up the date in one's mind into an overinflated and unrealistic platform may take the excitement out of the date and replace it with stress and anxiety. When there are too many expectations to live up to, there is very little room to actually let loose and have pure unbridled fun. Allowing the actual date scenario to dictate the course of the events can present its own sort of excitement and surprise, which, if met with openness, can unfold a good time. Location is a very important factor to consider when it comes to planning the first date. Being comfortable and being able to reach the location with ease is a good way to start the date, especially if both parties have agreed to meet there, as opposed to being picked up by one party.